Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday live stream. I go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, where I talk about voice and music, artist development, A&R, direction, brand development, music business, music career, how to create real traction in your career. And so this is really about helping independent artists and creatives turn up the conversation on how to build a creative life doing what you love, right? So as you're coming on the live stream, let me know where you're tuning in from. Today, I'm discussing the 5 secrets of vocal health and longevity for the singing voice. And these can also be applied to the speaking voice. Announcements before we begin. So this conversation we're going to talk about today is just a start to singing better in general and longer and keeping your voice for your entire career and your entire life, which is really what's most important, right? But if you really want to experience, hey, Dallas is in the house. If you want to experience a real shift in your voice, grab a free seat in my Better Voice Challenge 4-day workshop, and you will experience a firsthand decrease in strain, unbelievable opening of the voice, more resonance, more tone, more sound with less effort. And you'll get my brand new 8 cold vocal method release sequences for free. So go over and join the Better Voice Challenge. You'll find it in all of the links, and you'll see it on our website as well at carriecole.com. Come in for your voice and really experience the power and sound, the difference of these methodologies, these biomechanical methodologies in freeing up your sound and eliminating strain, because it's really important because we're talking about vocal health and longevity. So vocal health is the foundation of a voice that not only sounds great, but one that can stand up against the rigors of professional singing or singing night after night. As a singer, it's important to always protect and preserve the health of your voice and to increase long-term longevity. I see Idaho is in the house. I see Orange County, California in the house. Padmani 8, I love your handle. So hear me when I say this. This is probably the most important thing that you're going to hear today. Singers who don't, okay, before I say anything, who practices a regimen of vocal technique? Just give me a thumbs up or give me a heart. Who practices a daily regimen of vocal technique? Let me just read the temperature of who's on the call with us today. So if you practice a regular regimen of vocal technique, put a high 5 or a heart or a something in the chat. Okay. Who is practicing my cold vocal method? Who uses my cold vocal method? Give me a heart or a hands high 5 or something in the comments. Who practices the cold vocal method? I want to see who my people are who are here. Justin says yes. 2Q and me says yes. I know Kimberly Duncan. I think Kimberly Duncan does. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Kimberly. I know Dory does. Okay, anybody else? While I'm asking, put a heart in the chat or a yes or a high 5. If you practice the cold vocal method, that would be the Vocal Freedom Circle, the Singer's Gift, the Master Vocal Exercises. Okay, so hear me when I say this is really important. Singers who don't practice vocal technique are twice as likely to lose their vocal longevity. And this is because of unhealthy singing and speaking habits and improper techniques that slowly degrade the voice when you're not using a technique that has health at its base, like the cold vocal method, right? So it's less about getting older and more about vocal health, proper technique, and hygiene that really are the keys to longevity. There is an amazing opera singer who is now probably is 100 at this point. She was close to 100 when she did a I'm going to put it in the chat on YouTube because I can't copy and paste over here on my phone. So if you want to go get the chat, it's going to be on YouTube of Magda Oliveira. And she was actually a singer who was consulted by the great opera singers of the day because her technique was so incredible. And there's a video of her on Instagram literally singing at almost 100 perfectly, beautifully, because of her technique. Okay. So when you have a great technique in place, and those of you who have the link after the call today, go and listen. It's a quick, but she's singing like these incredible high notes, and you can tell she has osteoporosis and she's older, and you can tell, she's white haired at this point, close to 100. It's really extraordinary to watch her. So when you have a great vocal technique in place like Magda, it's like being a professional athlete. You have laid the foundation for a healthy, long-lived instrument. And people that have not done a biomechanical vocal method like the Cole vocal method, and it's the only one of its kind out there, you have no idea what you are missing in your voice. It's incredible. I got off the call with several sessions today, yesterday, last week, a couple of weeks ago in Vocal Mastery Program, people just raving about the changes in their voices. And I'm not making this up. I mean, this is like one of our artists, Tom Richardson, he's been an actor. He's been studying voice for a very long time. He's a singer-songwriter. He just could not believe the changes in his voice. His agent said to him, "This is the best we have ever heard you sing." And he's been practicing the technique for probably about a year now. It's extraordinary. It is a real method. It is based in real bel canto. There's a real difference because there's a lot of people are just picking up tips and tricks. They're not actually studying an actual method that will build the overtone series and build the voice. And when you do something like this, you take an average voice and you can step into a great voice. You can take a great voice and step into an extraordinary voice. Like it really is incredible. So you can go over to our site at carriecole.com and click on Cole Vocal Method, and you can learn all about it and exactly how to learn it. So vocal health is the foundation of voice that not only sounds great, but lasts into your later years. And so the 5 secrets I'm going to go over today, number 1 is to train your voice with a solid vocal technique. 2 is to practice good vocal hygiene and care, and I'll go over the basics of that. 3 is routine vocal maintenance. 4 is improve your speaking voice. 5 is managing vocal wear and tear, which is a normal part of a performing singer's maintenance, right? It's just important. So the key to decreasing strain and relieving strain in the singing voice and increasing longevity really has a lot to do with, how you're singing. And most people, until they've trained, they are using the wrong muscles. So they're using the accessory muscles. They're singing from the throat. We need to get our voices up out of our throats, instead of right? Instead of using the back of the neck, squeezing from the back of the neck, jutting the chin forward. Really good singers, you'll see them keeping this level. They might sing and go up like this, but they're still very connected to their pectorals and to the trunk of the body to support the sound. They're not using the back of the neck, which causes all of that tension. So the best way to have a voice that lasts a lifetime is to train. The voice is a sophisticated, complex instrument that's easy to misuse without the right approach and technique, right? So to really learn how to open and free your voice, I've made it free inside the Better Voice Challenge. I'm serious. Like, go over there and go through those 4 one-hour workshops. It's free, guys, and you learn the 8 sequences. And then come and do our Vocal Freedom Circle and come and do our technique and really up-level your voice. Again, you will not believe the difference in your voice. Technique is really the key foundation to how you make sound that will protect the instrument. You're singing more correctly, you're reducing all that strain, and you're also opening up your range. You're increasing your range, you're increasing your tone, increasing your mobility, increasing your endurance. Number 2, practice good hygiene and care. So, taking good care of your voice will help to protect the vocal health and longevity, right? So, staying hydrated. And we know today that staying hydrated is more than just drinking water, it's also drinking electrolytes, and it's adding things like fresh green juices, even some fresh fruit juices like pineapple and grapefruit and things like that, lemon water, electrolytes, broths. Eating fresh salad every day. Fresh foods have a higher water content, so you're much more hydrated. And these are ways that are really important to stay hydrated. There's also steaming. And people have asked me the difference between the vocal mist and warm steam. I prefer warm steam. So I prefer just, heat some water in a pot, put a put a towel over your head and steam for 5 to 10 minutes. Or if you're out, get a cup of hot water and steam, but make sure it's like filtered water so you're not breathing in all that chlorine. I don't really like the vocal mist because it's not warm, and the warmth is a big difference in sloughing off the music, the mucus, the music, sloughing off the mucus and moistening the vocal folds. Warm up your voice before singing. This is all hygiene. Cool down your voice after singing using our cold vocal method cool downs that reduce inflammation at the vocal folds. Avoid strain. So talking really loudly. You know how when you go to like a concert or a sports game or something and you're yelling, the next day your voice is not so good. So singers really need to avoid talking loudly for long periods of time, avoid yelling. I even have issues with some of my singers whose day job is like to teach Pilates or yoga, and they're teaching to a big room, or they're teaching children, or they have children and they're yelling a lot. Take a little megaphone with you. I mean, protect your voice, because the speaking voice will actually ruin the singing voice and cause big problems. And then, of course, avoid irritants, allergens, and pollutants, and gargle and keep that area nice and clean, right? So, number 3 is routine vocal maintenance. It includes your daily technique to strengthen your voice and keep it healthy, your vocal therapy to restore your voice when it needs more help and care, take down the inflammation on the vocal folds using our conditioning and cool downs. Gargle daily with a toxin-free mouthwash or salt water. Steam daily to improve vocal fold hydration and to slough off mucus. And then, of course, hydration. 4 is to improve the speaking voice, right? So improve your posture to avoid speaking from the throat. I have a teacher that I work with who's also a singer, and she is at her computer a lot or on her desk, and she kind of rounds her shoulders, and then her head is forward in front of her body, and then these neck muscles contract, and it literally causes hoarseness and causes her to be disconnected from the support of the breath and the support of the torso of the body that starts with the pectorals. So, and because she's been doing that for such a long period of time, she has to do some body work and yoga and kind of on an extreme for like 3 to 4 months to really restore that natural posture. And then she can maintain that, because when we have a forward head culture in our culture, because we're on our phones, we're on our computers, our head is forward, but the weight of the head is 10 to 15 pounds. So when the head is forward, what's holding the weight of the head over the body? You don't feel it, but the neck muscles go into contraction. And all you have to do is just tighten, put your hands on your throat and tighten, and you can hear the hoarseness in your voice. So that piece is really important, because managing the wear and tear, which is the fifth piece that I'm going to get into. But let me just back up for a second on the speaking voice. So improve your posture to avoid speaking from your throat and tensing those neck muscles from the forward head. Stop glottling. Ah. Every time. I, always, always. So when we start the top of a word with a vowel, it's very easy, if you're speaking loudly, to smack the vocal cords. And then it's also easy to rub the cords as you're speaking. So those two things actually create wear and tear on the voice, and ruin the speaking voice, ruin the singing voice, cause pain, cause early fatigue, all these problems. So we have a whole process inside our vocal rescue kit that is also taught inside the Vocal Freedom Circle for realigning your speaking voice and learning how not to glottal and learning how not to rub the chords. And we use a process called linking to link the words together in more flowing phrases. So you can find out more about that in my Vocal Rescue Kit. Number 5 is to manage wear and tear. So from time to time, even the best singers run into vocal issues. You know, it's Dr. Peek Woo, a laryngologist here in New York City, and he's a clinical research scientist. He's the author of the stroboscopy, created the stroboscopy, and said that the physical effect of a 45-minute vocal performance is equivalent to a 2-hour football game for a linebacker. So the amount of impact on the voice is equivalent to the impact a linebacker gets in a 2-hour football game for a 45-minute performance. So the impact of a live concert, regardless of how good your technique is still strain on the voice, and it is irrefutable. And that's why we need to warm up, and that's why we need to cool down. And these are very specific warm-ups that don't stress the voice, that open the voice and get the voice functioning better, like my singers give warm-ups. And then very specific cool downs that take down the inflammation on the edges of the vocal folds. So these pieces, it's really important because singers, like athletes, need to use the instrument correctly, or you're inevitably going to end up with injuries or early fatigue, or vocal issues more long-term, or lack of longevity, and you can avoid all of that. So the signs of vocal deterioration, and you can avoid all of that just by, I have all of my exercise videos and audios organized into 20-minute sequences. So 20 minutes a day is the minimum, 5 days a week to really experience a shift in your voice. So the signs of vocal deterioration that you know that's kind of happening that could develop into more serious issues are hoarseness that doesn't go away in an hour. And if anyone feels this, just give me a shout out in the comments, like what you struggle with vocally, again, so I can take the temperature and gear the conversation to you guys. So the signs of vocal deterioration that could lead to something more, like a bigger problem, is hoarseness that doesn't go away within an hour, loss of vocal range and high notes, like over time. You just start noticing that your high notes are not, you can't quite sing the high notes. It's not about getting older. It's about vocal, all of the things that I'm talking about today. It's about vocal health and how you're caring for your voice. And the deterioration that's happening from using it incorrectly. Loss of vocal fatigue, loss of vocal range and high notes, vocal fatigue. So when vocal fatigue starts happening earlier than it used to, that's a sign that the voice is slowly deteriorating. Losing your voice after a show, and then it's not returning the next day, right? Continual hoarseness and raspiness that doesn't go away, right? So these are the signs, like the high notes start to diminish, the range starts to diminish, you start to experience hoarseness. It's not really going away. Now it's starting to kind of be there all the time. Vocal fatigue, losing your voice after a show, not returning back the next day like it used to, not bouncing back, continual hoarseness and raspiness that doesn't go away. So these are all things that are completely turnaroundable and fixable. And you don't need to suffer with these things. And the sooner that you get on, doing a correct regimen of technique, the better, because you can turn it around. We have people in their 50s and 60s who can sing rings around people that haven't trained, that aren't losing their voices at all. Matter of fact, they can sing for hours without any problem at all. Let me open it up for questions. And like always, the blog, what I'm talking about on this live stream, is the blog of the week. So it's all written out over there if you want to go and grab it there. And join the list at carriercall.com so you get that blog in your inbox each week. And for our sales that we do regularly, and for our promotions. We have a new promotion coming up for our Step Up to the Spotlight program, which is our Kickstart Artist Development program, which is artist development is dead out there. And this is really the ticket to kickstarting your career. And then our Vocal Freedom Circle, we're doing a big launch in June. But both of those programs are available for you to purchase at any time. And the Vocal Freedom Circle teaches the full co-vocal method, the level 1. And you can write in for the discount coupon code on that. And it comes with a live monthly call. So we meet in a private monthly setting on Zoom where you're on camera and you can ask me questions. Okay, let's get to some questions. Okay. Q and me is saying, all you said, excellent in regards to protecting when speaking. I've noticed I can't speak in clubs. Yeah, better to avoid it, better to avoid it, especially if it's the night before a performance, right? Because it's going to take you a day or so to recover. Padmani says, how do you speak throughout the day properly vocally? Well, if you're listening to my speaking voice, that's more of an example of a proper singing voice. So I'm not dropping down. I'm not scraping. I'm not glottaling. I'm not separating. There's nothing happening in here other than just the vibration of sound. But it's placed more up here. It's not overly low. It's not overly high. It's just placed right about here. In my vocal rescue kit, we have a full regimen for you to walk through for your speaking voice to find the optimal speaking voice tone and placement and pitch where you should be speaking, and then how to avoid glottals and how to speak correctly. So that's all inside the vocal rescue kit. You're welcome. My pleasure. This method is really extraordinary and it's not out there. I'm the only one in the lineage to bring it forward. And it's just, it really never ceases to amaze me, the lack of detail in most techniques out there. When I was putting the method together based on biomechanical techniques that my mentor's mentor taught, and he studied vocal science. It's based on 40 years of vocal science. So when I was putting all this together and I was really examining and looking at all the methods out there, there's nothing like this. The still vocal method is great, but it's not a real method to build. It's more about textures and things like that. It's not a real method to build from the health of the voice from the ground up. So come and experience it. You won't believe the difference. Any other questions? You're welcome. Any questions about voice? Any questions about your career while you have me? We've got another 8 minutes. It's wonderful to have you guys here with us. And again, give a shout out if you do the co-vocal method. I see Troy here. He's been doing it. Question. I lost the bottom end of my voice for a week after tour singing, demanding Corsican I don't even know how to say that. Best strategy for protecting losing range on tour. Yeah. It's interesting that you were having trouble with a lower. Do you feel like you're forcing in the lower? Because and is this a female or male that I'm talking to? Female or male voice, basically. Because if you're singing opera, that may be that you haven't fully fleshed out the chest voice would be my first instinct. Female. Yeah, it's so I do this kind of work with opera singers that have only sung in head voice and haven't really established the correct registers without the pushed over compressed style of rock singing or pop singing. And I walk you through that actual transition so you can integrate your register shifts, because what happens with the soprano voice or even mezzo soprano voice that hasn't really developed those registers and the deeper registers is you're singing a little bit too low in head voice, which is fine for vocal technique because you're pulling it all the way down. But then you haven't developed the chest register, which really is a true integration for a true, fully developed operatic voice. Then it puts an extra strain on the larynx because your larynx tends to sit a little bit high when you only sing in head. And then you're having an issue. You're forcing the voice on the lower notes. So that would be my first instinct without having you in front of me in a lesson and hearing you to work on. And so I would really start working with something like the co-vocal method to start pulling, and it works alongside all of your other techniques. But I think that's more of a systemic issue with your register shifts, because normally your lower register does not suffer. It's your higher register that suffers on tour. So that's my instinct. And feel free to reach out to me if you want to have more of a conversation. Padmani, any advice for someone doing voiceovers? What kind of advice? What is the free starter pack you mentioned? The Better Voice Challenge. So the Better Voice Challenge, if you go to my website, carriecole.com, you'll see the Better Voice Challenge. Click on it and join. And it's free. And you get 4 1-hour workshop style sessions. It was recorded last year, and it's perfect. I thought of redoing it, but there's no reason to. And you get these 8 movement and release sequences that unlock the voice, decrease strain, open up the sound and resonance using very specific techniques, using the trunk of the body, using the correct alignment, using all this stuff. And we do a lot of release sequences to release the tension, and you get that for free. So that's the Better Voice Challenge. You'll also see it, the link on Instagram in the link tree, and you'll see it on my website. Ramsey Peterson, an artist I rep just got dental implants. What's the best way to ease him back? Male, 50-year-old baritone. Is he training, Ramsey? Yeah, because if he's training, there'd be very specific. There'd be some work I would have to do on the jaw, and there'd be some work I'd do on the hyoid bone. I use a lot of vocal massage in my, but very specific vocal release sequences, really. And it's not as simple as vocal massage, but that would be where I would first work in his neck, and then doing very specific techniques that are going to open up that ear, that piece. Any professional singer should be training. All professional singers should be training. If you really, if you're not training, you're missing out on the full potential of your voice. No question. Not even up for a question. From teaching voice for 40 years in New York City, I'm more ancient than I look. I have seen absolute miracles happen from the technique. I would get him inside the Vocal Freedom Circle and learning the foundation. And it works alongside any other technique. It's a biomechanical method, so it doesn't alter your style. That's why all genres can use it. It is like training with an Olympic coach as an athlete. You're really getting the correct motions, and it works from the very beginning going forward. Like you feel the difference. Probably need to be retested at my range. Once they said I was an alto, then later tested as a first soprano. Yeah, that seems strange. You're on it. Oh, good. Do you steam it just hot water or add anything to it? I don't like to add anything to it, to be honest, because we don't know how those things are going to interact. I mean, sometimes people add eucalyptus. I just don't. I just like the only other time that I steam that isn't just plain spring water is if I'm out at a gig or something. I'm not really doing that anymore. But when I was, I would have a thermos of throat coat tea with honey in it, and I would open up that thermos and steam with that, but not on a regular basis. Plain water is the best. You don't even need salt water, really, to be honest, because sometimes that can be irritating. Those of you that want to be part of the Vocal Freedom Circle, oh my gosh, you guys, come and join us. Write into info@carriecole and ask for the coupon, because we'll save you $300 off the course. So write into info@carriecole, say you heard me on Instagram, and ask for the coupon, and come and join us. And then you can meet with us in private Zooms every month. And it's an extraordinary technique. It's an extraordinary method. Do not, if you are professionally singing, do not pass go directly to learning this method. It's really extraordinary. When is the best time to do vocal massage and recommended day of performance? It depends. So I do specific release sequences that pull the larynx down, that manipulate the hyoid bone. All of this is inside the technique. So I will do those things on the day of a performance, but a full vocal massage, like a deep tissue full vocal massage, I wouldn't do on the day of a performance. I would do 2 days prior, because sometimes, if you're going deep, you're releasing tensions. It takes a little bit to kind of get back to center. And that's just in general for regular massages. Like if you're a performing singer and you're a professional singer or wanting to be, and you're not getting any massage work done, you need to rethink that, because body work is not a luxury for singers, but you need to work with people who really understand the voice. Um, and because you're using these muscles in this instrument, and when you overuse it, I mean, I've had singers that never did the larynx pull down that's in my singer's gift, and they've been singing for years. And what happens when you sing is the air comes up out of the lung and it pushes pushes on the vocal mechanism, that breath velocity. And if you don't have a really good technique, it just keeps pushing the larynx up and up and up. And then that's what causes the strain and the instability in the voice and the troubles with the break and the decrease in the range and all of those things. So it's very important. But inside my method, inside the Better Voice Challenge for free, I show you these sequences. And then it's inside my method, we go even deeper into it. Since having dentures, I'm getting pain in my temples and brow when I sing, even after warming up. You've encountered this before. Yeah, jaw work can cause a lot of issues. So, when you're having all that work done, all those, everything's tightening, right? Because your body is kind of seizing up, and depending on, any scar tissue or anything like that, if there were any incisions, your body has to deal with that. That's a trauma. And so I would start with physical therapy for jaw and voice. And then I would focus on getting work done with acupuncture to release those deeper tensions. That's what I would do. I'm located in New York City, but I don't do in person right now. I'm still just working on Zoom. So I'm available globally. I work with artists all over the world, with singers all over the world. And once you start working with me, we have a membership where if you're working with me privately, you get access, or if you buy, the technique or the exercises, you get access to our membership, to our portal, where all of the exercises are laid out on audio and video. The Vocal Rescue Kit doesn't have video yet, but Singer's Gift does. And you can just log in and, run the videos and run the audio. And then when you work with me privately, I give you my daily practice regimen, which is like the creme de la creme of daily practice regimens. And you track your practice in there. It's extraordinary. I get people who had so much trouble getting their daily practice going, actually doing it and enjoying it and loving it. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you come and join the Better Voice Challenge while it's up. It is free. You get those 4 sequences. You're not going to find anything like this anywhere else. And then come and join our Vocal Freedom Circle. Thanks for joining me today. I will, for those of you who joined late and didn't see the whole live stream, you can go to the live stream is recorded on YouTube. So all of our past live streams are there, and you can just go and replay that right now because it's recording as we're speaking. I will see you guys next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I wish you a wildly successful, wildly creative week with amazing epiphanies about your voice, amazing epiphanies about your artistry, and the artist renaissance is here. This is your time. So lean in more. Your music is never going to go away. It's never going to leave you alone until you really do something about it. But do something about it on a higher level. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.